talking to Kuma's flashback. Who was after Kuma?
Yeah.
Who was that? Like we seen that these people were yelling at Kuma, beating on him with weapons, and pretty much threatening him, saying like, "Hey, come back." You know what I'm saying? Come back. And he was like, "No, I don't want to go back to them. They'll kill me." Pretty much alluding to somebody, right? Alluding to somebody. Now, me, I'm thinking it's the world government, maybe some celestial dragons. I think there was like a panel we got where we see like some silhouettes, and one of
Hmm.
them, the hairstyle looked like one of them hairstyles that we get from the celestial dragons. So I'm thinking the whoever was after Kuma were celestial dragons. You know, who do you guys think was after Kuma? Or
Okay. I
what's
have.
going on with Kuma? This whole situation. Angel,
So
or go ahead, Q. Go ahead, Q.
okay, like this, it'll be a pretty extensive but very quick. So
Nah, go ahead, go
when I
ahead.
saw that scene, it made me think of two scenes. Kaido when he was a kid, because I'm happy you talk about Kaido's flashback. When he was being taken by the world government, his own people were taking him to. They sold him out to the world government for a place in the reverie, and we don't know where they were going to take him. And the scene with Hancock as a child when she's being mistreated. In the background, you see Celestial Dragons looking and laughing. So I
Mm.
think, with seeing his age, he could be taken, and I think that's where they took some people in God Valley. I think he could be taken there. He would fit the age.
You think he
They were
was
t-
going to
they
be
were
taken to God
yeah,
Valley?
yeah, yeah. I think it's the same thing as Kaido. His people are sold him out to, and I think he returned back to his homeland. But they're trying to get to send him back again.
Okay. All right. Angel,
I don't have an answer.
you
Like
don't
I don't.
have any speculation of who it could have been, possibly.
Mm, no, I didn't remember. Like I didn't remember this part of the chapter.
How you not remember Kuma's flashback? Oh, you did say in the beginning you didn't remember. Well, go look at it real quick. But you know something though, because we know that Kuma was considered a king at one point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how did he get from being in the state that he is at, that we've seen him in this little mini flashback, or I don't even know if we call it a flashback because it's more like it's happening in real time, right? So it's just it's just Jory Bonnie looking at Kuma's memories. So it's not really a flashback, you know what I'm saying? But seeing the state that Kuma was in as a kid, he seemed like he wasn't really in any position of power or anything. He didn't look like a prince or anything. How would he have gotten to the state that he is, that we seen him in this little memory bubble, to becoming a king? Like, was was he a prince? Maybe was he a prince and they was taking him back to his family, possibly, like his royal family.
Actually, to be honest, after rereading this, I think that might be possible because I'm looking at this and it seems the situation seems kind of similar to Sabo's situation because the people who are beating what's his name again, Kuma,
Kuma.
they look like people that like you remember how Oda like drew those people from Great Terminal with the missing teeth and messed up hair.
Yeah.
Like that's how they looked like to me. And then when you see the royal silhouette and then you see the castle. Yeah, I think that might be the situation possibly.
So you think
That
like he was maybe an heir or something, and he just doesn't want to be, maybe, possibly, like.
yeah, maybe an heir or a slave. I don't really know.
Yeah, because I don't know how
My
he goes.
pushback
Go ahead, go ahead. I'll let you go, Q. Because
My pushback with that is that the thing with Sabo is that even when they took him back, he left. Why would he go to the rank of becoming the king of Sorbet Kingdom? You know what I mean? I would
I
say he
know
was
that's
the
what I'm
former
saying.
king of the Soviet. That's the only pushback I would have with that thought process.
Oh no, 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 no. I'm just saying. I think the situation is. I don't think that it's the exact same. I'm just saying. I feel like it might be similar
You said
in a way.
why would he become the king? Cube?
Yeah,
Maybe to change the kingdom or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Unless
that's why. That's the only thing I can think of is that he wanted to make a change.
I mean, I guess he could have been a peasant, right? He could have been a peasant, and then he decided to overthrow the government. Maybe like they were targeting his type of people, right? Like maybe that's maybe they were targeting his type of people, and he led like a rebellion and overthrew the government and became the king.
because we do have that with Hancock. Hancock, the idea of if he was a heir or even not or not and became king, we had that Hancock, former slave who became the empress of her kingdom.
Yeah,
hmm But I
So
do.
there must be something clear in that
But
sense.
then, but then I kind of think this could possibly be celestial dragon. Like I
yeah,
do think this could possibly be linked to celestial dragon just because of one of those silhouettes look like they got the same hairstyle as Saint Carlos.
yeah. That's what
So
I
I don't know.
said. That's the same silhouette I was thinking of. Except you don't see a bubble,
Yeah,
right? Like usually they got the bubble
Yeah,
on their
like
head.
yeah, you don't see the
it's
bubble.
like Hancock's flashback when she's a slave and she's looking afar and you see them in the afar. You don't really see the helmet, but you recognize their celestial dragon and they're laughing.
Yeah.
And then you see one of them approaching and giving her the devil fruit that she has to eat.
You know what it could be. You know what I was
Yeah,
thinking. With the situation could be maybe Kuma was a prince. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he was a prince of like he was a prince of the kingdom, right? The Sorbet kingdom. He's a prince. Seeing how we know he became king eventually, and maybe his family wasn't necessarily bad, but maybe he came from like because we know Kuma comes from like a special bloodline, right? He comes from a special bloodline.
yeah.
Maybe that's his family. Maybe his family is special bloodline. Maybe some people in his kingdom special bloodline. So maybe him being of a special bloodline caused him to be a target of the celestial dragons. You know how like when we was at the auction house, they sell off a lot of special races, right? Like fishmen, mermaids, uh skypeans, stuff like that. So maybe despite him being a prince, you know what I mean, he was still of a unique race. And what we know of the celestial dragons is if they want you, they want you. It don't matter who you are. It don't matter what you are. If they want you as a slave, they can take you. You know what I mean? You could be the king of a country and they will still turn you to a slave if they want you as a slave. You know what I mean? So knowing that and knowing that Kuma is a from a special race, maybe they wanted him regardless that he was a prince or not. You know what I'm saying? So, but he was like, nah, I don't want, I'd rather die than that. And the people of the kingdom, from fear of like repercussions of the celestial dragons, they was like, look, we don't care if you're the prince or not. You got to go with them. You know what I mean? So I could see it being something along that line. Like,
You
like
know, I kind of feel like they might already be at Marizoa or God Valley, wherever you guys were thinking, because he's saying he doesn't want to go back. So I feel like
Yeah.
they're on the island or wherever he's supposed to be. I feel like they're there, and I guess they probably just came along, and them saying like, and then them saying like, if you don't go with them, they'll kill the rest of us. Like I honestly do think that this is probably celestial dragons, because like I can't really think of like a group of people that would get people to do that stuff out of fear.
yeah.
It's like yeah, I only think of the world government or like an emperor, and by then I don't think there were emperors when he was a child.
I mean, that could be the case. They could be a Marijoa already. you know. But I still think that like he had to still be a prince, because I'm like, bro, how do you go from, you know, whatever situation he's in at the moment to becoming the king of a country? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but personally, I personally I think like if this was anywhere, I feel like it would probably most likely be God Valley from what Cube says, because it's grassy. And I'm
mm,
so and I'm like, and if they're looking for him, he probably ran far away. So I'm curious on like, would he still be in a grassy area, or would he be like in a rocky, earthy type of area?
Also, I'm also wondering, because we know nothing about Sorbet Kingdom. I think we've never seen anybody from there except Bonnie and Kuma. So my question is this: they said he's a former king of Sorbet Kingdom.
put an
What
asterisk around
if?
Bonnie. Put an asterisk around Bonnie.
And what if originally he wasn't from that kingdom? Because what if, let's say, because we saw that with Ivanka, she redid her kingdom elsewhere. What if literally he migrated somewhere else, and that was Sorbet Kingdom? So maybe originally he was from a different kingdom.
Yeah. I
Because
mean,
I think we've never seen anybody from Sorbet. We know nothing about Sorbet, so
the reason why I said put an asterisk around Bonnie, because, you know, the whole idea of her possibly being a clone, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
I mean, that could be the case, Q. Maybe he's not from Sorbet Kingdom. Maybe, I mean, for all we know, Sorbet Kingdom could have been like a kingdom he created. You know what I mean?
exactly.
Because he
Yeah.
could have. Because think about it, like, you know, what did uh, what did Fisher Tiger do when he escaped as a slave? He started a pirate crew. Maybe Kuma started a kingdom. You know what I mean? Or I I'm kind of inclined to think he might have went back to his kingdom, because in order to be a slave, and then you escape, then you start a kingdom, and then you become a revolutionary, and then you became a Shichibu. Like, Kuma did a lot of stuff in such a, I mean, I don't want to say a short time, but, you know, I would think starting a kingdom from scratch would take a lot of time. So I don't think he started a kingdom, at least, but it had to be a pre-established kingdom that he
No, just it was just to answer to the what Angel was saying about the seem it didn't seem rocky, it's more grassy because Sorbet seems like to be a winter kingdom island. I'm just saying that maybe the idea of being king of Sorbet is much later on, and maybe he wasn't from Sorbet, but it was a kingdom that they established themselves, but like in the future, because he looks very young then. By then, that's why I brought up this point.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I kind of agree, because with Angel, when he said something about like maybe they were at God Valley or Mary Joa, because he said he didn't want to go back to that place, so that's just implying that he's not currently at whatever kingdom he's from. You know what I mean? So like he's somewhere else. I agree with that point. I'm definitely hoping that we see what caused Kuma to like become a lapdog of the world government. You know, like that's one thing I definitely hope we get from this little flashback, and maybe how he became a revolutionary. You know, stuff like that.